Hello and welcome back to the Milltown Way podcast, episode 14. It's the first podcast of the league season build up, first competitive game in the books, and plenty to get into. The President's Cup defeat at Tallaght, Dundalk with the Tallaght on Friday night, and a busy few days on the transfer front as well. I'm Ryan Brennan. I'm joined here as always by Adam Casey, and I suppose Adam will just get started on the events that took place on Saturday. That was the President's Cup, first piece of competitive action of 2026, ended in a 1-0 defeat to Derry City.
Yeah, first competitive game in about six weeks or so since the final game of the Conference League phase, and not an ideal way to start, but 1-0 loss to Derry, not the best place to start, but
Yeah, no, that it wasn't, but I suppose anyone will tell you it's just one of them. It's a curtain raising fixture. It doesn't have much meaning. Glorified friendly is what the losers normally say of the fixture, but so we'll stick with that one for this.
yeah, we'll go with that.
But no, it isn't too much to read into. The game overall, I did think was a little bit flat, and I think we probably had a similar opinion on that. Wasn't too memorable. Um,
No, not a whole lot happened. Rovers didn't produce a lot to be excited about, but at the end of the day, it's a glorified friendly.
well, this is it. It's a glorified friendly. Exactly that. Someone has to win it. The headlines surrounding the fixture did, of course, probably dominate around James McLean. He's been everywhere since since I've heard the final whistle on Saturday. His name has been everywhere associated with the President's Cup, Shamrock Rovers, and Derry City. Getting the assist for the goal,
Got a
and
frosty
then
reception.
frosty reception, and then kind of poked back at the fans from the south stand. Anyways, for quite a bit for the whole goal, it was a celebration. Really,
Yeah,
was him at the goal trying to wind up Rover supporters. Don't really. I know it goes one of two ways. Like McLean anticipated it anyways. That it was going to be that type of reception. He kind of hit back at supporters that did go at him to say to be called an orange. You
yeah.
know what?
Family
By his
friendly
fellow
show.
exactly. Keep it PG. From his fellow countrymen. He kind of hit back at that, but it's just like
It's
it's
football.
it's.
It's
I
part of
didn't I
it.
didn't
Unfortunately, it's not like, yeah, you can understand why he's annoyed, but fans are gonna
Well,
jeer and chant stuff.
he does bring it on himself
And
to an extent as well.
he's always had politics and all as a big part of his selling
Yeah,
point.
well, that's it. And I think with McLean, like I didn't really understand why he got jeers to an extent. And anyway, like I don't think that was it's
Yeah,
not he's not he's not in England now kind of thing. But look, I didn't really give it too much thought. I think for McLean, he seemed to lap it up, and then afterward, he didn't lap it up so much by hitting back on social media, particularly on his Instagram story. I think was where he hit back at Rover supporters.
yeah. Well, the he kind of with the assist he got for the goal, it was kind of felt like it was coming at that stage. He felt like he'd put that same cross in about six times to start the match,
Yeah,
and
well,
only
that's
one
it.
time in
One
front
of
of
them was bound to come off.
yeah, and then giving it the big one in front of the south stand.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's it. But for on the game itself, I don't know about you. I didn't read too much into it performance wise. Yes, it was a little bit flat from Rovers. It was a little bit, you know, pedestrian. Didn't look like Rovers had much to break down the Derry City defence, but at the same time, it is a President's Cup fixture. Nearly, I think. Look, when you looked at for me, when I looked at the starting lineup and saw some of the names, I thought Bradley is treating it as another friendly. Alex
Yeah,
Noonan in goal and stuff like that. Which is good to see as well to get minutes. But it just showed then maybe that's where Rovers that was the way Rovers were treating it, was that it
yeah. It
is
wasn't
kind
the
of just
usual
another
kind of
game to
starting
compare.
lineup. Yeah. So that's a squad that we've been used to in the last kind of rolling at the end of last year. A lot of different changes, like Alex Noonan playing, for example, the first half, which obviously a sub would be made way then for uh, in the second half. And, um,
Yeah, well, but like even some of the changes or some of the members of the starting lineup, even for example, I thought seeing John McGovern in there was as in kind of nearly leading the line, so to speak.
Hmm.
No Graham Burke, no Rory Gaffney. Michael
No,
Noonan on the bench didn't come off. Um, a little bit like Max Kovalevskis was up front with McGovern and stuff like that. But I suppose yeah, there was a little bit of uncertainty
Victor
around certain 11 things.
as well.
Yeah, Victor in there too. But it was just a case of yeah. I think look, I think once you saw the line, I think you knew exactly how Rovers were treating it. And it's not a bad thing to prepare.
No,
But I suppose the other side of the coin is it is the last game before the league starts. It's now from Friday onwards. It's this is competitive now, and there's no more warm ups, no more
no,
sugarcoating it. We're into league action. There's 3 points on the line, and this is where the title defense begins.
yeah, we can joke about it being a glorified friendly, but at the end of the day, it is only 6 days before the league starts, which it's not a lot of time. It's kind of the last, if you want to call it a friendly or whatever, it's kind of the last one just before getting back to business now on Friday nights, which
Well,
with
and
that game,
the first
welcome.
division
Everyone
champions.
wants it back. Yeah, everyone wants the league back, and what better way to start than with Dundalk?
At least it's not away.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, well, get a bit
We
of
get
time to
into that.
prepare for that one.
Yeah, we can get into that after.
Yeah, we get when that trip comes around, that dreaded trip, might I add,
Hopefully,
to
it doesn't
Oriel
take
Park.
3 hours this time or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was something else. But for the President's Cup, as I said to me, you know, looking at the lineup, the performance it did look to me as a preseason game, or like it was more competitive 100% than for example, when Rovers with Longford last week, the one that
Yeah,
I was at, it was obviously a lot more competitive. That a lot of yellow cards shown given out as
yeah,
well.
a lot of yellow cards.
Um, but like that, I think it was treated as a friendly. It, I left the game kind of thinking you could nearly have forgotten about what just happened in the previous 90 minutes. That's the
Yeah,
overall impression I got. Some good chances. Ed McGinty was forced into some good saves, one-on-one chances that he had.
yeah. In the second half,
Um,
there was, from what I remember, at least three kind of good saves you had
One-on-ones.
to pull off and from one-on-ones. Yeah,
Yeah, it
uh,
did. It showed like look, as I said, I'm not reading too much into it. It does show Derry City maybe like for Derry City, I think this was their opportunity to lay down a marker and say this is where we're going to be. We've signed this many players, and we want to show that we're coming for the title and we're going to be a serious competitor. Because they did finish second last season, but of course the way it ended was a case of Rovers had it. It was just more,
yeah.
this is
When
when yeah.
which
So
that was the game for the last few weeks. Which week
and
will we wrap it up?
we're asking the question when for how many weeks as well.
A good few weeks. Dominated the first
Yeah,
few episodes of the podcast. Was this week the week?
yeah. Well, that's it. But the other side of that game was it did show some it handed some competitive debuts to players. Jake Mulroney, Adam Brennan as well was the latest sign. We had
Yeah,
reported on the article that he was in that Rovers were interested and were looking to beat championship sides to get his signature. He chose Rovers over championship sides to continue his development because he is only 20 years of age. He
yeah.
came on and made cameo appearances, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Adam Brennan looked very good when he came
He was
on. Looked
good. Yeah,
really
he came
bright.
on in the 63rd minute, and he was very good for the last stretch of the game. And Rovers, kind of all Rovers' chances came in that last stretch of the game, trying to get one back. And I felt like he was involved in nearly most of them. Yeah, he brought
Yeah, well,
something off the bench, a bit of pace, just a bit of excitement, really.
that was it. It was a case of like you know he brought excitement and obviously offers fresh legs, but I think he met on about maybe two or three occasions. He made runs down that left wing and was cutting in and trying to deliver the final ball into the dangerous area. And look, unfortunately, it didn't come off on Saturday, but it just showed there was definitely plenty of potential for Adam Brennan. to me, it showed exactly why Stephen Bradley and other championship clubs were in for a signature too.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, it's good to definitely good, and we didn't expect him to be on the bench. Well, I didn't for, especially as the signing
No,
was only confirmed
on
by the
Friday.
club the day before. Yeah, and then he was on the bench.
Yeah,
Let alone be on the bench, he made an appearance as well.
yeah. Quick turnaround, but I suppose like you know it's coming up to the end of pre-season, so he would have been well kind of drilled with UCD in that sense. You know, them their own club preparing for the new season, so he would have been part of that their preparation. So you can see as well where it can work. But yeah, as I was as surprised as you were. I think confirmed on a Friday and getting minutes on the Saturday wasn't what I expected. Particularly, well, I wasn't expecting to see Michael Noonan's name on the bench either, which we'll get onto a
No,
little bit later in this
yeah,
show. But
we'll discuss him a bit
but
later. But yeah, wasn't expecting to see him. We literally talked about that in we were there. Didn't expect to see him, and then didn't expect to see him on the bench, and didn't expect to see Adam Brennan on the bench. They were the two big ones.
no, I thought for Michael Noonan, I thought he's probably already reserving a table for Oktoberfest when it comes around. But he was on the bench. He didn't get any minutes. He did get a good reception, however, when he started warming up down the sideline. He got a good reception from the south stand. Um, because obviously, but at that point there was no news that it looked like he won't be going to Hoffenheim.
Mhm.
Um, as I said, we will get on to the transfer side of things a little bit later. But so it was just nice to see that he did get the reception, and at that time when he got the good reception, Rovers supporters' main thought was probably that he's likely to leave because particularly when the club are accepting the fee, it's just a
Yeah,
case of if the player wanted us to make that move, and obviously ultimately, as many know, he's decided against it for the meantime.
yeah, which is obviously beneficial to Rovers, and it's good to see that a young player wants to stay. It's good for the league as well. You're seeing that a top young player who has a big team in Germany coming after him wants to stay and progress further in the league. It's good for the league and it's good for his development.
Yeah, 100%. With the game itself, obviously the new signings, Jake Mulroney was another one who looked good and was adjusting to the maybe the demands of Rovers. He spoke in an interview after the game to kind of say he kind of self admitted that in previous times or previous clubs maybe he became a little bit complacent in the squad, and he kind of just basically said in an interview that there's no room for that at Shamrock Rovers, which is obviously look you would expect that from the outside looking in. Anyways, I think how Rovers are so successful over the previous years and how they're always with successful with silverware and Europe as well. There can be no there can be no room to let your kind of standards drop. And Mulroney's seeing that now firsthand at Rovers, and he performed well. I think you could see maybe he was a little bit. I think there might have been times where he maybe showed a little bit of fatigue during the game, which is to be expected. Look, it's pre-season essentially, and first competitive game back, and so on. But he definitely was a bright spark amongst Rovers as well, particularly in that
Definitely.
attacking line.
Yeah, he definitely was a bright spark and it was good to see him play the full 90 as well. Like there was five changes made, four straight after half time, so it was good to see him get the full game and show what he can bring to the team.
Yeah, exactly. I have no. For me, I don't know. I look at him. I think I'm more hopeful than maybe cautious or pessimistic maybe about Mulroney. I think Stephen Bradley will be able to get a lot out of him. Once he gets going, it'll take a little bit of time, of course, to embed him into his new home and stuff in Tallaght. Um, but I think once Bradley has a while with him, I think you could see him definitely develop into a key, crucial player. It was also good to see Jack Byrne back in the green and white.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Another
think we
name that
expected
could offer
that.
a new signing. Yeah, well, when he went to Dubai, I thought that was the end. But once that loan ended, I think a lot of us were probably expecting that he'll head for a permanent transfer somewhere. But he's seems like he's here to stay. As I said, he was Bradley said a few months ago, or a couple of months ago, at this rate now, he fully expects him to be back at Rovers in January, and that's exactly where he is. He's played the President's Cup, and well, I'm sure he'll be getting minutes against Dundalk as well.
Yeah, probably you could probably expect him to start if he's fit and everything's all good. Probably now on Friday. But yeah, no, it's good to see him back Rovers jersey is not something we expected, but we need to learn to expect the unexpected.
Well,
And we
this
thought
is
the
it.
same with Rory Gaffney.
Well, exactly. We've thought this about some amount of players, and you think the end is nigh, and all of a sudden they've just committed to another season of Stephen Bradley and Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, but we've been right as well with Josh,
Been right with Josh. I had
Johnny
anticipated
Kenny
with
as
Sean
well.
Kavanagh. I had anticipated that I didn't think he was going to be there for another season as a player. Obviously, he's still at the club, and he's hadn't. He'll definitely provide valuable experience to the dressing room in a different capacity. But yeah, he was one that I had an inkling about. But yeah, other than that, I think any predictions I've ever made to you, anyways, I think I've probably been mostly wrong.
Not a good thing to admit on the show.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you got to be honest here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rory Gaffney, when I didn't see his name, he didn't play in any of the friendlies last week, and he wasn't in the squad on Saturday. But of course, you've seen him around the ground on Saturday,
Yeah, I seen him walking around just outside the ground.
just
So
surveying.
it was only like what, like probably 10 minutes before kickoff when I got there. Before I
Didn't you
went to
didn't see him in
go.
Nando's? No,
No, not this time. Nando's was
that's
jammers though. I
normal.
swear Nando's is in the square is only busy on a match day.
Well, I wouldn't mind, but it's normally the Rovers players that are making it busy on a match day as well.
Yeah,
That's where the team huddle is, I think,
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, I've seen that. So
The pre-game team talk.
yeah, and then I've seen Rowan and Finn then during the week as well out and about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in the square.
The recently appointed sporting director.
Yeah,
Yeah. But there, as I said, look, the President's Cup. All in all, it's not. It wasn't the be. It's nowhere near the be all and the end all. It's not something that I think I'd be telling supporters to be panicked about because Rovers lost 1-0 or anything near it. But what I will say is there's slight early signs that I thought Rovers need to strengthen the back line a little bit. I think look, people have kind of pushed on that or touched on the point that it's a slightly aging defense, which look everyone's getting older. You also have the omission of Pico Lopez in the summer, due
yeah,
to him being at the World Cup with Cape Verde. So that defensive line maybe just offers needs a little bit of strengthening. You had Adam Matthews playing at the right wing back position. Um, Obviously you have Danny Grant that does come in. He plays in the second, came on in the second half and stuff. So there are them signs. And there is that kind of depth as well. Adam Matthews is also a solid option, but it's just one that it's it'll be a tough task if he was to cover the season. And Stevens come in as well, but also he's of course that bit older too. So
yeah,
I think Bradley has already said in the post match interviews that he's still looking at other names, but and there's also you also want one or two more on the door. You did also kind of say what you said in the last episode, which was if they were to make no more additions, he would basically be happy with where the squad is at.
yeah, yeah. I don't
He
know.
must have been listening.
He must have been number one fan. But no, you are very right with the point that the back line is aging. Like Dan Cleary will be 30 now this year. Pico Lopez is 33. Bringing in Enda Stevens isn't necessarily an injection of youth into the team, but it is an aging backline, and that stretch of the season when there's cup, there's European qualifiers, there's the league. They're playing maybe twice a week for a few weeks on the trot. That's when they'll start to feel it, and obviously all things going right. Hopefully in the late part of the season, playing regular European football on a Thursday or a Wednesday, not
Maybe a Wednesday.
maybe. Can't rule it
Yeah, well,
out.
that's exactly. Well, what did you say earlier in this episode? To expect the unexpected with this club.
Exactly.
um, but I suppose we're moving on to Friday, upcoming Friday, and that is, of course, the Premier Division champions welcoming the First Division champions. Shamrock Rovers play Dundalk on Friday at 8 p.m.
Hmm.
Tickets do remain on sale, as far as I'm aware, on the website. It's not a sellout just yet. Or I'm not sure it
On the
will
telly
be
as well.
on the telly.
But why would you
Dundalk
watch it on the telly when you can watch it there?
football at your front door. Get down
Yeah,
and support the
exactly.
hoops. Um, yeah, exactly. Well, this is it. You need to tell everybody football's not a TV show. You know, get down there and support the lads.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, but Friday night offers a big occasion. You know, first game of the season. Really, you know, um, definitely excited for it. Of course, obviously, s the minute minus the minorest not that's not a word, is it? But we'll go with it. A minor setback in the defeat of Derry City, but I think all fans are looking forward to Friday. Both Shamrock Rovers and Dundalk.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. That's the main thing. It's good to have regular football back on where it belongs on a Friday night.
It's good to
That's
be back.
it's good to be back. Yeah, the great wait is over. But no, yeah,
um,
and it's quite cool to last. I haven't played Dundalk so obviously since they were last in the league. Last fixture against Dundalk was a 1-0 win away in October 2024. Dylan Watts scored in the 58th minute.
that was a
But
good game.
yeah, one of the few good occasions we've had down at that stadium.
Yeah, we made it. That was that a Sunday game if I'm
I think it
correct.
was a Sunday or something. No, don't know. It was in the
Um,
it was in the later part of the season.
I just yeah, 'cause, well, I remember thinking when Rovers beat Dundalk on that occasion, and it seemed like the title was back on, and they were heading for potentially heading for glory. Was it the what game? What round was that fixture? You know,
I'm not sure exactly,
was
but it was the 22nd last. It was the 27th of October. You'd imagine.
then it would have been like one that could have been like
I think it was the
in the
second
last.
last.
Yeah, so
That
Dundalk's
was
last home game.
yeah, and that
Yeah,
was
but
yeah. It was. You were right about it being a Sunday as well, because the Monday was the
yeah,
bank holiday then.
if Carlsberg did bank holidays.
But last home
Um,
game against Dundalk was also a 1-0 win in July of 2024. Johnny Kenny scored that time, but
it
getting
was round
emotional just
35.
thinking about
It was round
just thinking
35
about
of the
Johnny
league.
Kenny.
Johnny Kenny, yeah,
Haven't heard that name in a while.
don't, don't bring that name up here in this chat.
No, I miss him. Don't,
But no, look,
don't fall in love with the
Friday night,
Lodi.
never fall in love with the Loney, Adam. That's the number one mistake we made.
How could we not?
Look, Friday night, back under the lights, playing Dundalk. We've missed Friday nights dearly. Seeing Shamrock Rovers play football, and they come back on Friday. Like, you want to get off to a good start, don't you? That's the main thing. You
Yeah.
don't want to start slipping behind from the get go. Now, as we've touched on in previous episodes of this podcast, Rovers are not unknown to start slowly and finish strongly.
Hmm.
Well, even though I wouldn't really necessarily say Rovers finished strongly last season, still won the title, but that was
Yeah.
that was for other reasons. I think with the cup and the league and Europe on the horizon as well, and the
Mm.
league all but sealed. What are your kind of expectations as you head into Friday night against Dundalk?
Expecting a win, realistically. Yeah. I know it's good to start the season at home as well. Last season, obviously, started in the Aviva, which we know my opinion on that. But no, it's good to start back at home, I think. And I'd be expecting a win. Like Dundalk will be up for it because first game back in the league against the league winners, against the biggest team in the country. They're gonna be up for it. They're gonna be probably buzzing. I said he'll get a good turnout. I'd expect as well from their fans. First it's away game back in the league and everything. And I feel like that might not sell out, but I feel like good turnout from both sides would be good. It's on the telly, but why would you watch that? No, realistically, a win can't really be expecting or wishing for anything less.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. This Rovers team are very strong, and the signs they've made, of course, as we've touched on, that maybe one or two could be required. But I'm hoping for a big crowd. I'm expecting a big crowd. So I'm not necessarily expecting a full sellout, but it'd be nice to see a good strong crowd get 2026 beginning the right way and make Tala loud. Really,
Yeah.
you don't want Dundalk coming into a setting where you think that. if the supporters aren't up for the team, won't be up for it and to try and nick something. I think Rovers have it all there, and once the supporters get behind them, which I'm sure they will, it's all about just delivering on the pitch and showing, proving maybe some doubters wrong to an extent, because around this time of the year, Rovers tend to get some people who doubt. I think if they're going to be able to do this again, and Rovers do it again, and then they doubt them the next year, and then they do it again,
again,
and
and the cycle
and the,
repeats.
the cycle does repeat, unless it was, of course, 2024, where it didn't work out that way. But
Yeah, but
um, that
had to
was
let
just a
someone else
blip.
win it that year. Yeah,
Exactly, yeah. Good for the sport.
yeah,
But like that, I think, yeah. Look, I'd agree with what you're saying. I think Dundalk should bring a bit big enough crowd. They're not that far away from Tallaght Stadium, so
no,
they can't have
no.
too many excuses. I won't say any excuse, because at the end of the day, Friday nights on it, when you're working on it and it's an away game with it, and it is what, about an hour and a half on the
Yeah, it's
road.
still like 3 hours some days.
You do 3 hours one way on some occasions, and still make it for a kickoff.
Delayed kick
Kickoff
off.
to delay kickoff being the best part of the day.
God, don't even get us started on that day. That was something that we'll have to talk about that in detail when we do the proper
Well,
away to
when it
Dundalk
comes,
preview.
yeah, we might do it from the car, saying, yeah, just another 2.5 hours to go.
Yeah, it's 3 hour app.
Um, but I suppose looking at Friday, and in context with Saturday's defeat to Derry City, would you expect, or would you personally think there should be some changes made in and around the starting lineup? Would you think maybe
I
some
don't
wholesale
think he'll.
changes need to be made, or
I don't think he'll go with the same time as team that started the other day. I think it will be slightly different with probably more of the usual players we'd see, but I think you'd have to expect Graham Burke back in the team, and maybe a Rory Gaffney, at least on the bench. You'd hope, but yeah, midfield probably you expect a Jack Byrne in the middle, Dylan Watts probably to start, uh, which I'm looking forward to seeing that partnership, Dylan
yeah,
Watts and Jack Byrne. But I do think he'll
two
won't
midfield
be like.
maestros?
Yeah, I don't think we'll see the likes of John McGovern start or Victor. I think they'll be kept on the bench and brought on maybe for a bit of an impact later on. And same with the likes of Michael Noonan. Hopefully, will be back in the team, maybe on the bench again, and then the new lad Adam Brennan as well. Hope I
Yeah, that's
expect
it.
him off the bench, and obviously McGinty back in the net.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, like, I don't think, look, there's going to be, what would you say, solid changes made where you can fully expect them. I think Danny Grant will obviously come back in there for Adam Matthews. I think a few will retain their place in the starting 11. I don't see Victor retaining his starting place. I think he'll probably go to the bench. It'll be an interesting season for Victor. Obviously, it's his last year at Rovers before he heads for Arsenal next January. So it'll be interesting to see what way Bradley wants to see him progress, and see what he can offer the Rovers senior squad as well. Because, as we always say about the games, how much more congested the schedule will become from the summer really onwards, of 2 games a week with Europe and the league, and then the cup, throw the cup in there as well to stir it all up. So it'll be interesting to see how Bradley wants to manage Victor's minutes. Um, but yeah, a lot of I don't like. Obviously, I don't think you'll see Max Kovalevskis in the starting line, as you've said, Alex Neil. McGovern became a key feature towards the end of last season, so I'm not sure he could retain a starting place. He does offer an element that not many others do, but there is just that. I don't think he's not a player that should lead the line.
No.
But he is a feature that can kind of drop in behind and provide something for the striker, and provide something for the overlapping maybe wing backs as well.
More of
Graham
yeah,
Burke
more of
and
a
Rory
centre
Gaffney.
forward, like yeah, false nine.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. Well, don't get me into false nines. Um, but Graham Burke and Rory Gaffney, two features that you would like to see, as you mentioned on Friday. Maybe there is just an injury issue there, in the background, that maybe
Yeah,
Bradley hasn't touched on. I'm not too sure. We've not heard anything, or anything like that, but it is a bit unusual to not. to not see them in the squad, or with Rory Gaffney hasn't played a friendly even. Um, so that make it out what you will. I don't know. I don't. I certainly don't. Look, I don't think if you didn't see Rory Gaffney on Saturday evening, I would maybe get a little bit concerned. But now that
Yeah,
you've seen him and was he in Rovers, gear?
yeah, he was in the tracksuit.
He's in the tracksuit. Well, down there we go. I think
Unless it
that
was
should
just some
seal
random ginger bloke, but look,
it. Yeah, is was it doppelganger?
yeah,
Rory Gaffney's doppelganger, just impersonate
yeah, they brought a Rory Gaffney professional impersonator.
him. But yeah, other than that, I think I said if you hadn't seen Rory now, maybe I'd be getting a little bit concerned, thinking why is he not in the team? But no, other than that, I think what you've said is pretty much nail on the head. It'd be interesting to see if Enda Stevens comes into the starting lineup, or if he'll maybe come off the bench like Adam Brennan. I think he'll be on the bench again, and I think you'll see minutes for Noonan. Obviously it does also hinge on how the game goes, but I think probably expect to see Michael Noonan get minutes on Friday evening.
Hopefully, hopefully. But yeah, I
Um,
want a bit of Graham Burke. It's been too long.
got a bit of Berkey King.
Yeah, yeah. And we
Um,
wonder will the trial player from from the first friendly, will his name
oh
come up
yeah,
again?
the unknown trialist Manuel
Yeah,
Pulser.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly that's him. Otherwise, he's probably getting a lot of DMs on probably Instagram or whatever saying sign for Rovers, and he's like, what are Rovers? Only the biggest club in the world.
Yeah, but no,
For
yeah, we wonder will that name or will we get a name, a proper name at some point?
Yeah, it's because like, you can't argue with Rovers won 6-0 in that friendly against Longford, and he played the full 90 and he scored two. You can't really argue with Like if you're gonna get a trialist in and he scores two goals in a game, I don't think you can really say you're not coming
Yeah,
back for another
yeah. Here you've scored two goals, not good enough. Where's the third?
one. um, but as for obviously Rovers' opponents on Friday is Dundalk, coming up from the first division. The last time Rovers played them, as you were saying, about October 2024, their future was even uncertain of if they were going to continue existing as a football club. They've obviously
Yeah,
restored that and kind of steadied the ship somewhat. Still, they had issues as late as I think it was probably a couple of months ago, but they seem to be steadying the ship in County Louth, and they're in the Premier Division now, and they'll be hopeful that their issues have kind of more or less gone away.
yeah. Oh, you'd never want to see a club going through anything like that for the supporters and for anything like that. Even if you don't like the club, it doesn't matter. Like if Dundalk get relegated again, great. But I don't care.
Don't have to hear that. Don't have to hear that Tano again.
Oh God, the bloody PA announcements in the stadium. But like realistically, the team getting relegated is fine, but the team going through like liquidation or anything like that, that's you never want to see that.
No, 100%. But I think they'll come up with probably a bit of confidence, as you've said, and bring some numbers as expected. And they've been known to get the odd draw on occasion with Rovers and Tallaght as well, even. And obviously they've been known to beat us at Oriel Park. But I think Friday will provide an interesting game, and there won't be any. There definitely won't be any rollover, really, will they?
No, but like they're gonna be up for it. Like the last time they were in the league, obviously not last season, the season just before. In the four games they played, it was Rovers won two, Dundalk won one, and there was a draw. So
Yeah,
it's up in the air really. Like
it doesn't. It's not a one-way street.
no,
On
it's
Rovers
not
play
expected.
Dundalk.
Yeah, it's dual carriageway. It goes both ways.
All right, pal, we'll get you a road out. Uh, you spent too much time on the road for that last or one of them last trips to Dundalk. That's the
Oh,
problem.
yeah. Oh, it's stuck on the road lingo.
Um, but I suppose we'll move it on to transfer business. Our
Yep.
favorite time of the week,
Yeah.
the transfer saga at Shamrock Rovers, and what goes on, comes in, who goes out. I suppose the first bit of news was, of course, Michael Noonan, that we've already touched on. Looks like he's
Stay.
set to stay and turn down TSG Hoffenheim. It was a decision made by Noonan and his family, um, to reject that move, because obviously it was club to club. It was accepted. Rovers had accepted the deal. It seemed to be in around the valuation of 1.8 million euros, which the club were happy to go with. But of course, then it was on Michael Noonan. Michael Noonan will then. It looks like he's guaranteed now to stay till he turns 18 in July. So good news for Rovers to have him for another 6 months, 5 6 months. But of course, it does delay the inevitable as well.
I don't want to say it is, but it feels like this is just. It feels like they're going to go in for him then again in the summer, or someone else will.
I To me it seems like again I'm only speculating here. But if you're turning down Hoffenheim, which are a good operative German side, I think probably holding out
Turn
for a move to the UK,
Probably, yeah. I think
the right
probably
one to
could
come
be
along.
following in Victor's footsteps. You know.
I just I personally just hope he doesn't go to Celtic. That's my They've been
Yeah,
sniffing around, and when Fabrizio Romano tweeted about Hoffenheim's interest in Michael Noonan, he mentioned Celtic were in there as well, keeping an eye. But I just don't want him to go to Celtic. It's not. It just seems like Rovers players turn into scapegoats when they go there. Liam Scales
yeah,
tends to get a lot of criticism, and Johnny Kenny as well. So yeah, it's not one. It's not a move that I want to see him make. And I don't, I don't necessarily think he will.
no,
I think he'll be able to see that the criticism that the players do receive, particularly seems to be particularly Irish players get that criticism. So he might be holding out for something more than that as well.
yeah, that's true. How that does seem like he is holding out for the UK, but as you said, just yeah, not Celtic. Anyone but Celtic.
I know about Celtic.
We were only talking about it during the week. The criticism Johnny Kenny gets. There was a post from what's Brennan League of Ireland,
It was from the UEFA Conference League TikTok page.
and then all the comments were like slandering him.
I just don't get it. I really don't.
Mm.
It quite irks me to be honest. But sure, look, that's football. It's the life of a professional football player and the whole yada yada yada. But yeah, no, I don't like to see it. And as I said, it does just seem to be. Um, I do consistently see that them type of online debates on like the likes of Twitter and stuff, where Celtic fans will be criticising Liam Scales or Johnny Kenny, and I do often see Rover supporters in their defence, and particularly when Celtic are a club who at the minute are going through a tough patch,
Yeah,
it's easy to use some players as scapegoats then.
yeah. It's easy to put the blame on one person, and
Yeah,
it seems like they're easy targets when they come from the League of Ireland for them.
yeah, well that's it. I suppose that's Michael Noonan staying put till July. His development will of course hopefully go as planned anyways under Stephen Bradley, no matter where he decides to go, expectedly in July. Um, the other player who we've already mentioned as well that came in the door that was confirmed on Friday was Adam Brennan.
Yep.
A mixture of our two names. He must be a big fan of the podcast.
Yeah, I know. He's just a big fan. That's why he signed.
You hear that? Yeah, there's two hosts, Adam Casey and Ryan Brennan. What better way to combine the two?
That's what he's like. I have to sign for Rovers now.
And one who we always praise on this podcast, or what player is Rory Gaffney, and well, he's ginger as well.
Yeah, true,
It's
true.
just really a combination of all of the three
Maybe that's
greats.
who I see him.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you just forgot to ask him. Are you a mixture of our names? Is that on purpose?
Yeah, but yeah, no. We talked about him earlier about his impact when he came on, but yeah, it's good to get young talent into the team from
It's
UCD,
also good to
obviously.
see. Yeah, it's good to see as well that like he did have interest from championship clubs, the likes of Birmingham and Hull City were all sniffing around him, and he decided to make the move to Rovers. It's a really, I think that's made a really positive step, and it's maybe shown the door to other League of Ireland players that might have that same conundrum that they're getting that interest from England and
Hmm.
debating whether to go or to stay or go. And maybe you just tell all the other rising players that are in this league just join Shamrock Rovers instead.
If that's the message, I'll happily take it.
If only Owen Elding had followed the same.
Yeah, but
He was let go for a very low fee from Sligo Rovers, I think, um, to Hibernian, but he's made that move. He's in the green anyways.
well, no, you're right. It's great for the league to have young players wanting to stay rather than just jumping ship as soon as they can.
Yeah, but that's it. And look,
I
I for
think
one was
the
excited about what
European
he
football is
showed.
part of it, definitely. Like having the opportunity to play in the Conference League or the Europa League or anything like that. They jump ship to England, they're not getting that.
No,
Like we don't see
yeah,
Doncaster in the Conference League very often.
yeah, or Lincoln City, for that
Yeah,
matter.
well, we shouldn't don't be throwing sly digs there.
Well, no, look, obviously I understand why players make these moves. Sometimes I like with Josh maybe if it was money, like you can understand if Lincoln were to offer a lot more than what Rovers can offer him on a weekly basis. That's fair enough. I get it, but in terms of kind of and in England maybe more eyes are on you in that sense. But at the same time, when Rovers are in Europe, surely there's more eyes on Rovers than playing in
Hmm.
the Conference League. Like when Rovers played Chelsea, in the Conference League last year, they've been there three years in a row. Surely there's more eyes on a on the European stage as opposed to playing for a League One team or a Championship side for that matter.
Yeah,
Obviously Championship side a bit more eyes on you that in that way as the leagues go up and stuff. But yeah, I just think it depends on what the player. And you'll never really find out. Obviously, that's to be expected.
no,
But
it'll
you'll never
always be
find out
speculative.
what the deciding factor is. But for that matter, if it does, when Rovers have regularly made Europe, you need to think about that as well. I think.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. But
Um, with the transfer news, obviously, it's another while before the League of Ireland window closes. Not till later this month. But Stephen Bradley's hinted at, as we've already said as well, he's hinted at one or two more signings.
yeah, that's a good thing. As we talked about in last week's episode, if it's the squad enough now, would you be happy with this squad for the whole season? And I think we're a little bit reserved in what we said, but I do think we both kind of agreed that we could benefit from maybe one or two more, and it seems like Stephen's been listening.
Stephen's been listening to the latest episode of the Milltown Way and says we need more bodies,
Yeah,
but he'd be happy with
exactly.
where the squad's at. Um, yeah, you said last week that you would be happy, no more signings, it's okay, kind of thing. Still, maybe as I said, I'm not reading too much into the President's Cup, but from what you've seen with the President's Cup, would you think maybe are more bodies required, or
Yeah,
are you kind of the opinion of look, it's the President's Cup who really
both. It is the President's Cup, but more bodies are needed. Like as we talked about earlier, the aging backline and getting into that stretch of the season where there could be 2 games per week. It's going to be tough. I think a little bit more depth is needed for the team, and especially
yeah
the window's still open for until later this month, really. So still time to make some moves.
yeah but that's it. I think with Bradley mentioning that, I think it's shown he said it after he said it at a point last week, and then Adam Brennan came in. He said at the launch of the league, where Adam Brennan was brought in to the club. So generally, when Stephen Bradley hints at more signings, they're made.
Yeah, that's true. It's yeah. He usually does hint at them. He's not a man to make false promises. He delivers.
Exactly, exactly that. Um, I suppose just a few bits before we wrap up, there is the Club Lotto, which is available to members, just to get entries in for that. So it starts at 3 entries for €5. It's every Monday at 2 p.m. It is open to individuals, not just members. So in case anyone does think I'm not a member, just say for example, if you're a season ticket holder and you're not a member, you can't apply or can't enter. You can. You just have to be age 18 and above. You can just search for Shamrock Rovers Club Lotto. You'll find it there. So you can find it through the website as well. The results of each draw will be emailed to entrants post draw, and then just make sure that your lucky numbers are entered every week with the advanced purchase option offering free draws as well. But you can also, as I said, you can follow that on the website, and make sure you enter that as well. The money that
Yeah,
is raised for the club does go towards the Shamrock Rovers Academy as well. So make sure you do
good
get that
cause.
in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, that's it. Well, when you're putting money in like that in any capacity, and you put like, it's going towards the academy. Sure, your Victor Ozyuvunas and so on are coming through, and
Yeah, yeah, true.
when you think about when you put it that way, or you put it into context and stuff, that's what you're producing. Try to produce the next Victor, and so on. Um, but as well as that, the other thing I just want to mention as well, is a quick shout out to another League of Ireland podcast. It's worth checking out. It's called Lanamudge. It's an Oscailga podcast that started last season. It's hosted by Daniel, who did just turn 13, and he is a massive Rovers fan, so make sure you get onto that as well. There's 8 episodes up already on Spotify, and there's another one planned for release, and that's on February 5th. So that's in 3 days' time from the recording of this podcast. So just make sure you do give that a listen and a share, and give it a follow as well on Spotify, and get the listens in for him.
Yeah, it's good to
But
have. Should we be promoting our competitor?
well, this is it. We might have to take him down a peg or two.
No, but it's good to
Um,
have other podcasts talking about the league and stuff. And
no, it definitely is. And it's also definitely it's great to see young lads starting at such a young age,
yeah, I know.
supporting the league they love and doing it on that type of um platform as well. And that's day because it's not easy, and for the lads to have the passion there. I know
And doing it
you
off
run the
scale
other.
as well. It's impressive.
Yeah, we couldn't sit here and do
No,
that.
definitely not.
So yeah, no, it's definitely inspiring to see the young lads doing that. And so
Yeah.
make sure you do get onto them and give them a follow and a listen, a like on the episode, a rating and the whole lot. Um, but yeah, that's it from us. Um, it's been great to chat again ahead of the new season. Excitement continues to build. It's
Yep.
great. We missed the time out over the festive period. Was missed being doing this and missing seeing
It's
the
the
hoops in
week.
action. Now we're back to a weekly basis.
Back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Yeah, this is it. It's good to be back. Um, as I said, make sure you do follow us across all the social media platforms. At the Milltown Way. That's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Basically, any social media platform, I'm sure you'll find us there. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, where you listen to podcasts, and make sure you share it. And as well as that, let us know what you made of the President's Cup, what you are expecting on Friday night, where you think the squad still needs strengthening, if it does at all. Get your thoughts in, or any questions you want asked. Make sure you get them in to us in the comment section. We'll be back after the Dundalk game to talk of what's unfolded there, and of course, the trip to the Chicken Goujon cauldron of the League of Ireland, Shelbourne.
I'm buzzing
Um,
for it.
good to be back in there.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to run out this time.
But yeah, other than that, that's it from us for episode
Yeah.
14. We'll chat to you after Dundalk.
Now